Good evening, good afternoon, and Merry Christmas, listeners. This is commentary about 50 weeks or too early, you think?
I think we might be there. I'll tell you what, I feel so Christmassy.
Feeling very festive.
I mean, to be fair, yes, we did miss the Christmas period for this, but for our Christmas commentary, by the way, folks.
It'd still be released as the Christmas commentary as well.
We could be advanced and do it for next Christmas.
With this particular film, I was thinking, it's alright, because it kind of has a bit of a hangover to New Year's anyway. So I was thinking, you kind of do as a New Year's comedy. I think it's just kind of like,
I think
gone on a bit too long now.
I think we're a little bit lucky in that it's just by luck it's this one. Had it been next year in your choice and Jingle All the Way or Scrooged, then mid-January doesn't... already. Yeah, I know, but last year Scrooged. That's what I meant. If it had been either side of it, I think no one's going to want to listen to that in January. But Trading Places does work year round.
It's not specifically. I mean, it's set around that time of year, but it's not.
It's
when
classified
you think of Christmas movies,
Christmas films, but it's not a Christmas film.
No.
Having said that, I was looking at new on Netflix the other day, and they've just started re-streaming Arthur Christmas, and I thought, why now? That was like yesterday or something, like 11th of January or something.
What Christmas?
Yeah. Oh well, it's been really popular with kids.
Anyway, so this was your pick, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it was my pick. I don't know, it might even have been a couple of years ago. I've got a fair idea. I had a fair idea I wanted to cover it. It's a favourite of mine anyway. I mean, Eddie Murphy opened with 3 blinding films. His film career just opened with 48 Hours, This, and Beverly Hills Cop. And sort of that and Coming to America.
There was a forgotten one, wasn't there? It was like a John Landis kind of film that completely... with Eddie Murphy in a tank, I seem to remember.
That was Best Defence.
Oh, was that?
That was a Dudley Moore.
I've never seen that.
As I recall, that was a Dudley Moore film that sort of sat on the shelf for a year or two because it was shite. And then they sort of hired Eddie Murphy in to shoot a load of stuff to try and salvage it. Because Dudley Moore had 2 big hits at the start of his Hollywood career and then fell away to everything he did flopped. And Best Defence was one of those. But no, Trading Places has always been a bit of a favourite of mine, and I think as years go by, if we carry on doing this podcast, there probably is a degree that the definition of a sort of Christmas film will loosen into kind of like a holiday film as well, because I don't see any reason you can't do. I mean, Americans might notice a big difference, obviously, but I don't see why you can't do something like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as a Christmas commentary, even though it's
Thanksgiving.
It's winter set and they're trying to get home for the holiday. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm picking that next, by the way, but I think something like that
would be a good one,
Day or something. I think you can be fairly loose on the definition, but if you want to tighten it up and do Jingle All the Way and Arthur Christmas and all that sort of thing, that's fine too. But Trading Places, we're lucky. It's a film you can do year round.
I mean, the whole idea of what makes a Christmas film is very loose anyway. I mean, like, one of these discussions about whether is this a Christmas film, is that a Christmas film, that I see break out on Twitter every single year. I just think no one's really talking about the heart of the issue. What are the grounds for a Christmas film? What's the criteria? Because if it meets a certain criteria, then it's a Christmas film. If it's not, then anything's a Christmas film. Anything you like to watch.
Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie?
Well, anything you'd like to watch around Christmas time could be classed as a Christmas film.
Does On Her Majesty's Secret Service count as a Christmas movie because it's set around the festive period?
It could do. I mean, why
There's
not?
Christmas trees in it and stuff like that. But then...
You guys, Merry Christmas 007. Also, I wrote an article for Set the Tape on why it is actually the perfect Christmas movie.
Which I shared because it was very good.
Thank you very much.
That was last year, wasn't it?
It was. Or the year before.
No, it was last year.
It all blurs into one.
You wrote an article this year fairly recently that I liked as well, but I can't remember what that was now.
No,
it was a few weeks ago.
My one article a year for them.
Yeah, no, you did do the Christmas one, but then I could understand if you're a big Bond fan watching and you're not watching sort of It's a Wonderful Life or something. I can totally imagine you might finish Majesties and stick For Your Eyes Only on. Because there's a lot of it set in snow. It follows on anyway, in that it starts with him at Tracy's grave anyway. And you could totally make that a bit of a Christmas film for yourself, just because of the look and feel of it. Winter sports and all that sort of thing. So,
why not?
Well, for that matter, any Bond film could be a Christmas film because it's usually on. There used to be always one around the holiday time, so you used to throw in a Christmas film around Bond.
Well, yeah. It might remind you of Christmas because that's when you used to watch it with your dad or whoever. But I'd struggle to think of Thunder was a Christmas film. Deep sea diving in the Bahamas. But yeah. Or License to Kill or anything like that. But there you go. So it's Trading Places tonight. And sorry, folks, we're a bit late with it. Just before we go into it, just a word on future schedule. And we're not going to go into why we've been delayed and all the rest of it, but just take it as read. We weren't all available together over Christmas. And we had various problems last week when we were actually ready to record. So we're still yet to record the Star Wars rankings. What I think we'll do is put this show out, tonight's show, as soon as possible, because it won't take a lot of editing. But then you may have a week and a half's wait or something for the rankings, because we've got to get together still to do them, and we'll take it from there. So sorry about the delays, folks.
And then we'll be back on with John Wick, won't we?
Then we'll be back on with John Wick after we do the Star Wars ranking. But on this sort of schedule, it's probably not going to be out till the first weekend in February anyway.
Probably. We'll see. But that
we'll see what we can do. But our schedules have got more challenging. I think that's all we really need to say on the subject.
Yeah.
But it's signalling nothing other than it's a bit difficult. That's all. We just have to put a little bit of planning to what we're doing.
It's mission difficult, not mission impossible.
Absolutely. That's
well said, Chris. Well said.
Yeah. So, yeah. Mind you, if you look back through our history, whatever happens, we release a very similar number of films each year anyway.
Yeah.
So there's always gaps. It's just part of what we are, I'm afraid. So should we get all festive?
I've got my Santa hat on. I'm rocking a festive cold, so yes, let's.
I've got a glass of mulled wine, I guess.
Is that like mould wine or mould wine?
Mulled.
Bred from purest mould.
You're not mould.
Wine left here from Christmas. It's gone nice and mould.
Mouldy wine. Ooh. Vinegar, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I've no idea. I've never had mulled wine. Is it any good?
Oh, delicious. Drink it hot.
If
there's ever a Christmas market near you, try and get some. It'll probably cost you like £3 for a small glass, but
it's basically hot, spicy Vimto. That's basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Yeah,
that doesn't sound wildly appealing. Although I kind of like Vimto, but there you go. All right then.
It's worth a try. You got to try it once.
Let's put on a show. Let's get on with what? I thought you said the cook report. Yeah. Are we doing investigative journalism tonight?
Why not, Dave? Why not?
Let's be Christmassy.
Okay, so I'm gonna play on a count of three. So on three. So, listeners, if you're watch with us, when I say three, press play. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3.
What are you watching it on, folks? Blu-rays or what?
I'm watching it on Now TV.
I'm watching it on a RIP, just a Paramount logo stars.
Yeah, I've just got the Paramount now.
Yeah,
it's
just gone to the sort of.
Is this Beethoven?
Bernstein? Isn't it Bernstein?
Philadelphia.
Well, I haven't got the sound on, but I know the music I used for the trailer, which I'm going to put out, and I think it's Bernstein, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. I'll check.
Okie dokie. Oh look, they're getting ready for Christmas as well, just like
we are.
We are, yeah. We're getting.
We'll get home for the Christmas period.
Rocky's there jogging down the street.
That's what it looks like. Actually, I don't remember that shot in this film.
Dear, dear.
Can you imagine if all of Eddie Murphy's career had been this good? Can you imagine that?
He's on a bit of a comeback now, isn't he? I guess.
Yeah, well, Dolomite is my name, and there's
really popular.
I've seen it. It was just nice to see him in a film that was making a full-blooded effort at something and was a bit more adult. I wouldn't say I actually loved the film, but I just loved the intentions of it. And obviously, Coming to America's coming.
That's going to be a Netflix, isn't it? Coming to America too.
Oh, brilliant!
Are you sure about that?
I heard it was. By the way, it's Mozart, not Beethoven.
Mozart. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know what music's playing because I got the music on. But I thought there was some Bernstein on the soundtrack. But I don't know.
Fun fact, folks.
But yeah, I quite enjoyed Dolomite was the name. But yeah, I know what you mean, Dave. It wasn't like
it wasn't blinding, was it? It was just good, but it was good. It was good
because I think it was like generally you felt the good intentions. You felt like it was something that they both kind of liked and wanted to pay tribute to, and it was an actually nice reminder just how great a screen presence Eddie Murphy is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still saying Paramount Pictures distributing.
Yeah.
December the 18th it will come out. I wonder if that means we'll get it on like Boxing Day or something. The thing is, it's going to be PG-13. That's the only doubts I've got. Plus, when did he father a kid? But there you go, anyway. Yeah. I've got worries about it, but what's the worst that can happen? It's crap. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I never quite get it when people get pissed off about sequels and stuff like that. Don't fucking watch it.
Well, just move on. You're just like,
maybe they're worried about it messing with,
Although I have to say, bringing Star Wars back has slightly damaged the original trilogy a little bit. At the end of Return of the Jedi, you're like, well, your marriage fails and your kid's an evil twat, and actually you haven't beaten anyone, and the Emperor's all right. And, yeah.
Oh dear.
Rocky, there he is.
Good old Rocky.
Denham Elliott was brilliant.
Legend.
Full stop. But was bisexual in an era where AIDS was rampant and not.
Oh, I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, he was bi. He died of AIDS.
Oh, I wasn't aware.
He was married, but he was bisexual.
No, fair play to
men as well.
Living that lifestyle in such a difficult time.
Yeah. We're just talking about where the highest rates of infections were. We're not making any generalities about people's sexuality, but it was, it was a dangerous time, the 80s anyway. And he contracted it and died in 92, I think.
Oh. Much missed, much loved character actor.
Yeah. It's amazing. Dan Aykroyd balances a really clever role here just because he's really not likable, is he?
He's a bit of an ass, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sometimes you forget how good Dan Aykroyd is when he's in something that's really good.
No, he's fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got one of them like really kind of car salesman's voice where he just talks at 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
But
when you look at this, then look at Ghostbusters, then look at like the Blues Brothers, very, very different parts.
They handles them all really well, and just it feels so natural as well.
Imagine Denham Elliott just going, "The royal penis is clean."
But he plays really good pompous though. Like,
really good.
Like the bit where he's sort of like, that man tried to have sex with me.
Yeah. Thing is, his life doesn't look fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually look particularly enjoyable, does it?
No.
It looks very comfortable, but...
Yeah, it's not very enjoyable, as you say.
Mm. I always thought of this. I used to think of this when I used to go to work at a certain place where my desk was just a little bit too far up the corridor, and I'd almost run out of words to say hello with because I didn't want to say morning. So I was literally like one bank of desks away from top of the morning to you, I think, because I was just running out of ways to say hello to people.
Hello.
Howdy. Good day.
By the end of it, you're like, howdy.
Ciao. Bonjour.
Ciao.
Finger guns. You know.
Bonjour.
And, yeah, just the cheeky little sort of like wink and a click.
Buongiorno. It is. You don't want to do because I always thought of this film. I think the first time I probably did that. I probably walked up one morning, morning, morning.
Suppose
And all I could think of was this.
I suppose a way around it could you just be like, just like sort of like gently like acknowledge everyone's names, like sort of like Mike, Steve,
Ted, Bob.
Yeah.
There's 6 people on each bank of desks.
Norman.
There's 2 parallel either side of me. I'd be going at hell of a speed.
You said everybody, Steve. Bob.
Yeah. I'd never noticed before that Dan Aykroyd's got the same photo of his girlfriend in like where he's being shaved at home and at the office. It's an identical print.
Oh, fun fact.
That's probably because they didn't have a different photo, so they just reused it.
Yeah. Might be that there's just. It's just a sort of almost subliminal. There's no spontaneity in their lives.
Yeah.
See, look how Christmassy it is.
Snow.
Lots of it.
And TVs and cars. That's how 80s this is.
This is very 80s.
You might be on a PAL version of this, Chris, if you've got ahead of me, because I don't think I've seen the TV yet. Maybe I have. There you go. The screens have just come on. When do we sell? Cannot believe how stupid these scientists are.
Pork bellies, I knew it.
Yeah, I don't care about heredity versus environment. That's where I am. I just love the punchline to this whole thing, that their whole bet is $1.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
I know.
Sell.
Yeah, they're looking at the pork belly.
I wonder how they do it. It's probably all on your phone now, isn't it? How would you do it?
I don't know how I to be honest, I don't really know how trading works. I mean, I got the vaguest idea, but if I started trying to explain it to somebody, I would sound painfully uninformed.
Likewise, unfortunately.
I think it's probably the basis of it is quite simple. It's just basically gambling.
It's basically supply and demand.
Yeah, that's probably all I could tell you.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you wouldn't know what to do if you actually were trying to do it, but I think I understand the general principle, which is just kind of like know when to.
But they having bought all those pork bellies, they don't just deliver them, do they? Can you imagine that? A load of pork bellies turned up, you bought them.
Pardon me, sorry.
That is a nice office, though. Roaring open fire.
Nice roaring fire. Tasty.
He's just sort of placing a kiss on his girlfriend's.
Yeah. I'll try and mute when I cough. Sorry.
Sorry,
I'm doing the same.
I've got the sound turned down a little bit, so hopefully there isn't too much leakage on my side.
I think he's asked about Vietnam or something, isn't it? And when he's trying to explain what regiment he was in and shit, that's really funny.
They ask him what war. It's like, well,
yeah, he's something unit battalion.
Just making it up as he goes along.
Yeah.
Liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. 18th Street. Well, you know exactly where in New York that is, then.
You could have fallen off there quite easily.
See, this is the sort of club I'd like to be a member of. Not with these pricks, but there's something I quite like.
It looks cosy.
It looks cosy, yeah. Open.
I think we should set up our own club. Just hire out a big hall like this and be like,
Yes.
Yeah, that's as far as I've got. I haven't really thought of much.
Yeah, no, it's almost like it's the first time you've thought about it.
A library of books and films. I have to let other people join, but they'd have to drink our signature cocktail to prove their worthiness.
No one should have to drink that.
No.
Warm it up, put it in the microwave for a minute and eat some of it, I suppose.
Eat some fish. That's good for you. But no, we have our own club. It's our lovely fan base.
I could just picture us just sitting there in our suits, in his ground out chairs and sort of behaving all formal like, and just sort of reading like copies of the Viz rather than Wall Street Journal.
Is that me you're referring to?
I was referring to all of us, really.
You do kind of like accuse me of reading Viz accurately.
But
a lot of links to them.
Well, I'd be inclined to join you in this occasion.
Yeah. I'm gonna read. Yeah.
Sipping brandy while like reading. Ooh, big tits.
It's a bit like Alan Partridge. I'm gonna read the fat slags on the veranda. Simon Heffer in his case. To be honest, you should be allowed to go in there in like a dressing gown or pajamas or something if you're comfortable. You shouldn't have to sit with like starched shirts on and shit.
I don't know. I don't think it's like the done thing, is it?
I've never noticed before. I don't think they drink alcohol. I think they're drinking small glasses of milk, though.
Could be.
Yeah,
Unless they're like something like White Russians or something like that.
Could be White Russians. Clarence Beeks.
Hold on, we know that guy.
Yeah, he still hasn't delivered the crop report.
No, I think we need to kick him out the backside. Say, get on with it.
These
for anyone listening, Clarence Beeks has terrible taste in films. Anyway.
These two really do remind me of like villains from an old-fashioned film.
Yeah,
like
they are a little bit.
So it's almost like It's Wonderful Life-esque, though that kind of era.
Certainly, Ralph Bellamy could have played a Mr. Potter or something. Either of them could, really. How many years they lived after this? They were quite an advanced age here, I think. But it was cool. It was just cool, the little thing, seeing them in Coming to America. So that's in the same continuity, basically. Then, although it's just a little joke, really. Winthorpe is a very steady young man. That's where we are. Actually, there is a point to this. It's a film that I'm surprised hasn't been remade in more different ways. You know how there's like several different versions of Brewster's Millions and stuff like that, and you get several different versions of body swap films as well, like Freaky Friday and vice versa and all the rest of it. I'm surprised there haven't been more films with this basic premise.
Well, it's Prince of the Pauper, isn't it? That's basically the concept.
Well, I guess it is, actually. But I'm just thinking in recent years. I'm not talking about historically in literature.
No, but you're right that films always get like sort of redone, over again or sort of reimagined. And this I can't think of a Prince of the Pauper type thing that's done, like, at least mainstream anyway.
No. I love the fact he's basically doing a Stevie Wonder impression there.
He used to do that in a stand-up, didn't he?
He did. He did. I mean, Cosby's the one he's still best known for because it's so over the fucking top.
Brilliant. I think that's probably my favourite.
He does do an uncanny Richard Pryor as well.
Yeah.
It is like uncanny. You shut your eyes, it's Richard Pryor. Special unit battalion.
Raj making it all up.
I was Agent Orange. Yeah.
Special Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to sort of like sort of copy Richard Pryor, didn't he? When he still like as a kid, he used to listen to his records and.
Oh, delirious! He just said I wanted to be Richard Pryor, but I hadn't done anything yet. So all I could do was something about taking a shit, and then he does a long Richard Pryor-esque
bit about taking a shit, and it's as funny as anything else.
Really, really good.
Yeah, but see, even though it is just about taking a dump, he's like, fucking hell, but that's still funny. You know when that water splashed on her ass? Doesn't make you mad, right?
Yeah. This probably isn't too far wrong how scared of the poor the rich are. You know what I mean? Like, oh, fuck.
Well, he's such a sheltered character, isn't he? He's like...
Well, I thought that about the two old men. When it looks like they're drinking milk and cookies, it's like they've almost never grown up. They're going to have a childish bet over someone's life, two people's lives, although obviously they're improving one of those lives temporarily, for $1.
Mm. Well, that's just like disconnected, and like they're in their own little sort of world, aren't they? So they don't really sort of think about anyone else.
It's never. He won't. I bet he's. There's nothing in this film, apart from a few verbal jokes, to suggest that the character is in any way deeply racist. But of course, he's never even around his own. He's only ever around his own race, as well. I mean, just look at that. It's just basically white men everywhere. He's got a proud history, Eddie Murphy, of going into places and behaving slightly embarrassingly. It reminds me of Beverly Hills Cop, that he goes in and pretends to be gay, telling him I've got herpes simplex 10. Yeah.
I think you should tell them that yourself. I think that'd be best.
I can't imagine many people listening haven't seen it, but again, we do have people of different ages and stuff listening. But I mean, of the three, I think 48 Hours is the lesser. I think of the three, that's probably the weakest, and that's still really strong.
Yeah.
And then you've got this, which hopefully you're watching along with us at some point, and Beverly Hills Cop was absolutely superb. Neither of the sequels were, but the first one was brilliant.
Well, what makes it great? We might do it as well at some point, but what makes it great is Eddie Murphy is pretty much like ad-libbing through the entire thing.
Yeah, he is.
And the story is basic as anything.
The story's really basic, and in fact, he's there trying to help out, trying to investigate in the case of somebody who was shot and was a complete asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was just on the story and they'd done the original version with Sylvester Stallone or whatever, it would have been nothing. But I love it when he goes into the Beverly Hills Hotel and they won't give him a room. And then he just launches into this massive rant about how he was writing an article on Michael Jackson and, and all this sort of stuff. And now I'm going to say they're racist, and all that kind of shit. It's really, really funny. But the sequels...
And he's really good in it as well. He's like, he does sell... I love the character that just happens. It comes from the basic generic of the story, but it comes from Eddie Murphy just ad-libbing and just sort of creating it. You get this really kind of complex character. Well, I wouldn't say complex, but it's a character that's both tough, intelligent, but yet likes to just sort of like piss people off because that's just how he
because he actually grew up wrong side of the tracks and then decided to become a cop.
Yeah,
and clearly didn't have much or any of a rap sheet. Had got away with that, and then sort of became a cop. But he's still got a bit of the street about him. Not meant in any colloquial term. I just mean that, like, from when he was the bad side of the track. So he still shit talks people and chances his arm and stuff like that.
And is good in the fight, but not in a kind of like, oh, that's fucking so unrealistic way. He's just generally handy and actually you always get a strong sense of loyalty with him because if throughout the series and in the first one as well, it's like he does honour.
Oh, he nearly loses his career entirely over that guy. Who, sort of brought it on himself.
But there's also like a code with him. Like
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
Look how relaxed they are for dinner.
It's very chilled out.
Yeah.
But how?
She's a bit Scarlett O'Hara there.
I always think of like how hard his butler works. Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unsung hero of this scene. But yeah, her dress is very... I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's very much of that kind of era, isn't it, I think? Yeah. Also the same as very 80s, but it all comes around again.
It does. Yeah, I remember in the early 90s, the dresses were very sort of 40s and a lot of paisley and stuff like that and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does circle around with slight variations.
There's a lot of like 60s stuff come back again, isn't there, now? So it's all going around.
Anyway, He's about to knob her unimpressively, I imagine.
The dessert? No, you haven't.
Great, yeah.
I'm loving the wallpaper.
I didn't notice, actually. And of course, he's in the kitchen now, chucking it in the bin.
Hello?
He does have a pained look on his face when he actually finds out what it is they're proposing and when he can't talk to Winthorpe and things like that. What a thing to do. What a thing to do, full stop. I always find this funny. Doesn't he go in to talk to them or something like that and they're sort of midway undressed and stuff? Struggling to remember.
Crop reports. His damn crop reports. You have to message Stu and say, Clarence, where are those crop reports?
I've been asking him several years. He's 37 years overdue at the moment.
Tusk.
Has anyone actually ever kissed anyone like that when he sort of leaned them in?
Yeah. Just right to...
If you've ever tried this seduction technique, let us know.
If you knob like Dan Aykroyd, write to us and expect us to talk to you.
Mrs. Aykroyd might have a few things to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you'll be guessing to a degree because I can't imagine you'll have watched a lot of him doing that. He's like, yeah, he looks really pained. Good night, so it's like your life is going to be ruined tomorrow. This has a feel of ad lib about it as well.
What, in the police cell?
Yeah. Yeah. I am a chain belt in Kung Fu. Whatever that.
I'm pretty sure he was my teacher.
Yeah.
Is Eddie Murphy...
Do I need to, is it seem too noisy? Do I need to turn it down?
No. I can't hear anything.
Okay.
Is Eddie Murphy going to do stand-up again, do you think?
Yes.
He's like warming up.
I sincerely hope so.
So
he's at his best, surely, when doing stand-up.
I mean, I was in America when it hit its 40th anniversary, SNL.
Wow.
5 years ago. So we were like watching it on TV. The whole like 3 hours or whatever it was. It was quite a big event.
It's huge over there, isn't it?
And he came on to do... He appeared in a couple of sketches. I mean, they brought most of their famous cast who are still alive sort of appeared. I mean... He came back to, what's it called? Will Ferrell came back to do Jeopardy and all the rest of it. And Eddie Murphy came on and he was introduced. And there was a huge fanfare as he walked onto the stage. And then he sort of smiled a bit and it went to commercials. Yeah. And he said afterwards, there was plans for him to do stand-up and he kind of bottled it. I think he openly admits he was nervous. And he was supposed to go on this Jeopardy sketch as Bill Cosby, but that was only a few months after all that broke about him. So he kind of bottled out of doing that as well. And then of course
that would have been immense, though. Like,
yeah, he did present it a few weeks ago though. So and it was good. So the family dinner is the best sketch. I don't know if you've seen the sketches he did. The family dinner.
I think I saw some of them, a couple of them.
The family dinner where they're all like being lovely to each other around the Christmas or Thanksgiving meal or whatever it is, and it just cuts to what their everyday life is like. And he's in a mixed race marriage, but they're both really fucking racist and stuff like that, and screaming at each other. Yeah. I think his opening monologue, he revealed he now has 10 children, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was like, I think it's probably sort of speaks to his movie career at the time. I think he's kind of like refinding his mojo. I think he just didn't know how to be funny anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all that family-friendly stuff he did didn't really work hugely. The Nutty Professor's got its fans, but
the first one was funny, to be fair. But
I haven't seen it for a long time, but most of that stuff wasn't very good, and it's just a waste of material, you know. And it you know, I mean, that is his peak is higher than Richard Pryor's in terms of films, but it reminded me of that. Because like Richard Pryor, was such a talent, and they couldn't really harness him on film properly.
I would say Murphy's built more of a movie star.
Murphy's had, well, I mean, he started off with 3 Stone Cold Classics, and he's had 2 or 3 thereafter as well. So yeah, Richard Pryor doesn't have that. Some people are a bit fond of Stir Crazy, and that's about it really. Silver Streak maybe, a couple of the ones he did with Gene Wilder. And
Superman 3.
Superman 3, of course.
Oh yes, don't forget that.
Yeah, I was taken in by his genius computer programmer.
By his charm.
With no actual training.
Yeah, no actual training, but it's just something that like you can be a genius at without any training and without knowing you're a genius. Like. We now know it's all programming languages or something. It's like learning a foreign language, but no, he could just intuit it.
Well, he was basically sort of like Neo. He just knew the Matrix, so he just sort of like, I can read
it. Do that, and he's like, I don't know, I just did.
I'm just typing in words.
And I love that they built the computer from napkins. That was brilliant. You know, from stuff just scrawled on a napkin. Yeah. These dudes are a couple of fuckers then. Couldn't say that now. He always had such an engaging smile as well. Yeah. that kind of like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, his peak kind of ended, I suppose, with Coming to America. But the first film where I remember when The Golden Child came out, and it was really, really hyped. And when it came out and it was disappointing, everyone was shocked because he hadn't really done anything that disappointing at that point.
Yeah.
He had done Best Defense, I suppose, but I don't know if I don't think many people saw that, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that was a. Yeah, especially given the fact that he was hired literally to try and save it, so it wasn't really like.
He didn't actually do that many at his peak, because you think Beverly Hills Cop is followed by The Golden Child, followed by Beverly Hills Cop 2, which I always remember being quite boring, but I haven't seen it for a long time. Coming to America's next, and then it's Harlem Nights and Another 48 Hours, and those are the two films he referred to when he came back a year or so later and said, I made a couple of shitty films, and he means those two. But thereafter, it's really not good. Boomerang's got its fans, I know that, but then it's like The Distinguished Gentleman, Beverly Hills Cop 3, Vampire in Brooklyn, Nutty Professor, fair enough, but Metro, Dr. Dolittle, Holy Man, Life, and then you've got Bowfinger, which is really good.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Didn't get amazing reviews at the time, Bowfinger. Got a lot of like 3-star reviews and stuff like that. I think everyone was like... It's
one of those things that on home release, it's kind of found its second wind. Perhaps it's kind of come to sort of, cult classic.
Yeah. Oh, this is one of the best lines in the film, but it's really juvenile. But hey, Bubbles! When I was a kid, we wanted Bubbles. I had to fart in the tub. When I was growing up, that's it. Yeah.
Good old jacuzzi. It's very 80s, so much chintz. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I just think you wouldn't call it a jacuzzi now. I mean, it's a brand name anyway, but it also sounds a bit down market.
Hot tub.
I've got a hot tub sounds like a den of iniquity. When people say I've got a hot tub,
next door neighbour's got a hot tub.
Yeah, they're all fucking in it constantly, probably. Have a look out your window. You might get a free show, Becca.
Well, not now. So they put it away for the winter time, but
have they? Oh. Is that because their knobs would look smaller?
That's because it's too cold.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to whip it out in the summer.
Yeah, I thought you could go in hot tubs in the winter anyway, because that's
it's because we've got sort of houses back onto the woodland, and we've got this like really quite dodgily overhanging tree, so it's quite dangerous. But yeah, they're having some renovations at the moment, and it's like, oh, we could do with that just now because it is quite cold here at the moment. Yeah, I could do with that hot tub without having to art in the tub.
But yeah, just hot tubs are just, for late night parties.
Oh god, stereo! Oh my gosh. How old is this film?
1983.
Yeah, I was going to say it's as old as me.
37 years at this point.
Oh.
Or 36 at the point where we should have released it. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I don't know actually where they filmed this. Is this a soundstage or an actual house? I don't know.
I don't know. It could be either, really, couldn't it?
Have a look. See what I can find. Hang on, Trading Places. I can't even remember where I first saw this, but it was the sort of thing that was on TV quite a lot when I was a kid. And again, you can show it any time of the year. In fact, it was released in June. Made for 15 million, made 90. That's not bad.
Oh, not too bad, I suppose.
Critical response is excellent, but you'd expect that. The film was originally called Black and White.
Oh. Yeah, glad they changed that.
Yeah. The script had been developed for Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, but then Richard Pryor was involved in a severe accident. Do you think that's the time he set himself on fire? You've heard that story, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's freebasing him to set himself on fire. Yeah, it would be that probably. Conventional felt Aykroyd, right? Landis, Paramount suggested Eddie Murphy as a replacement. Landis liked him and pushed for Dan Aykroyd as a co-star. Paramount were reluctant as they felt Aykroyd would not work without John Belushi. Landis says conventional wisdom was that Aykroyd without Belushi was like Abbott without Costello, and that his career was over. Yeah. Okay.
Because Belushi was going to be in Ghostbusters, wasn't he? So, and as was Eddie Murphy, but because when Belushi died, they got Bill Murray, and that kind of left no room for Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy's going to be like the wisecracking one. Yeah. So.
And the studio didn't want Jamie Lee Curtis because they thought she was just a horror star.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was a bit of a kind of scream queen, wasn't really.
Landis wanted to cast a 1940s film star who'd never played a villain, and he thought of Don Amici.
Uh-huh.
He looks incredibly different when he's young. Died aged 85 in 93, so about 75 here.
Oh, okay.
Ralph Bellamy I thought was older, let me look. Ralph Bellamy was about 79 here. Oh, probably a bit less when filming. And he died in 91.
Oh, sad fact.
They were both they were both knocking on a bit when they died. So, that's cool. Anyway, hope you're all still feeling festive.
Yeah, he's another guy. He's another guy in another Christmas film. He's in Die Hard, isn't he? The police chief.
Which one are we talking about?
The guy who's the security guy who they hired to frame.
What? Clarence Beeks?
Yeah.
Yes, he is, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
And the principal in the Breakfast Club.
I think he's dead now.
Yeah, he died not long ago.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Hang on.
Have a look on IMDb.com.
/ Yeah.
Trading Places.
Paul Gleason. Died in 2006, aged 67.
Oh.
Which means he was about 44 here. Mr. Thalom, that's he had the type of cancer you get from asbestos by the look of it.
God.
I never know how you pronounce that. Mr. Thelioma. type of cancer that develops from the thin layer of tissue that covers many of the internal organs.
Horrible.
Oh, yeah, it's quite common down here because of the dockyard. I went to school with a few people who lost their father to it because they were working with asbestos in like the early 80s and things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I keep forgetting he died. What else was he in? So, Breakfast Club, I remember him. I didn't see the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, he was the principal in the Breakfast Club, wasn't he?
Yeah.
As for the bull, you'll get the horns. That's a great role.
I've only ever seen that film once. I avoided it for years because
so good.
I was a bit worried it would be. Do you know when you see like that montage of them dancing and pissing about? That's what I thought the whole film was going to be. That would have like pissed me off slightly, but no, I liked it.
Well, it's always parodied, isn't it? Like if you're going to do like a TV movie parody. But obviously, kind of watching it now, you could think, oh, it's a bit
cringe.
Not the most PC film going.
They think he was exposed to asbestos building sites, working for his father as a teenager.
Oh God!
So literally before his adulthood started, he was like a ticking time bomb.
Oh no, it's horrible, isn't it? You see, if you work in the building trade or you see on the docks in that particular era, obviously there isn't the awareness that there is now.
Yeah, and it is like a single exposure thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you can get lucky, but you might not.
Is that Frank Oz?
I always thought it was Frank Oz.
Yeah, it might be cameo.
So, because Frank Oz, I was a bit surprised when he turned up in Knives Out, although that was a whole kind of.
That was a cameo, literally.
Well, yeah. Hang on a second. I'm still looking for it.
Did you know Dan Aykroyd's actually a member of the Academy?
Oh, is he now?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. He would be in, obviously, the actors branch, yeah. He might even be in the writers branch as well.
Yeah. And I know which one he's going to be voting for, because he talked about it. He said, like, which one he's probably going to vote for Best Picture.
What did he say?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Fair enough.
He said, like, yeah, that's just a great picture. So I've got a feeling that's going to do well. That might hit. I think we're discussing off air what might win Best Director, Best Picture. That could be Best Picture, I think.
Well, the thing is, the buzz around that film is growing, even though it came out several months ago. I'm hearing more talk around it now, so I don't know. I think the 1917 will likely win some technical awards, and that could extend to director, just because the logistics of that film are so complicated that it would have had to be. It has to be so detailed in its planning and in vision and logistics and everything else, and just the marshalling of all that as you go along. But you do get sort of split casts, split awards sometimes. Yeah, Frank Oz is the corrupt cop. Yes.
Yeah.
This film really kicks into gear where Jamie Lee Curtis turns up.
Yeah, it really does. Don't forget that she's in it. Like, oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis.
When she gets her boobs out.
Yeah. That is a very famous shot in cinema history, actually. The first time, not the second time. The one in front of the mirror. There's loads of boobs coming up in this as well. Back at the apartment. I've been waiting for you, Billy Ray. So get ready for Chris to lose the power of speech. I think if you suddenly got wealth like this, it probably would go to your head like this.
But it probably would.
Well, yeah, bear in mind, he's been, like, homeless for, well...
however long.
Yeah.
And now he's got the absolute best of everything.
So, yeah, I think they'll be like... Well, I think... I was going to say part of him, but I think he's probably thinking, this ain't going to last, and they'll kick me out, like...
Yeah.
You know,
the one stood next to him now is the one that's waiting in his bed later, and waiting for your Billy Ray. Yeah, he comes to regret this.
Cocktails.
but I do like how like I'll straight away he starts to appreciate like the finer things and start being
he's
like, actually no,
immediately like, this isn't right. You can't retreat in a place like this. I can hear the music from this in my head. I remember what the music sounded like from this.
It's proper generic disco.
Yeah, I know.
Disco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the fan, Billy Ray.
Throwing up the bathroom
downstairs.
Downstairs.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah. Look at the even bottles in the corner there. It's just like they
downstairs,
have an industrial amount of drink.
It just goes, you know, the whole kind of like nature versus nurture, really, isn't it? It's like, oh, if you've come from money and that's what you've grown up with, and that's fine. But
well, we never learn Winthorpe's background, but he is well spoken and stuff. So the chances are he does come from some degree of.
Oh, of course, yeah, no, he's very erudite.
Oh, some more boobs.
I haven't got to it yet, Chris. You're on pal.
Oh, I must
he's
be.
Skipping.
He's just asking who the hell's dropped this cigarette. Hey, have you people ever heard of coasters? That's where we are. And now Denham's walking around with party food. Would you like some more Hawes duvets?
Hawes duvet. Excuse me.
I believe some of them have adjourned upstairs. It's like, no judgment. He's got to be fairly neutral, whatever happens. There's boobs. Setting the bar fairly high. They all suddenly decide to be topless while they're dancing. Fair enough. Again, it's that really enthusiastic movie dancing look.
I'm looking at the lyrics to the music and the subtitles, and it's "If you want a funk, let me show you how."
Yeah, it's not my version of the subtitles. The song is, all the dialogue is.
You could probably put "Make It Last All Night" from For Your Eyes Only over this one. See what happens.
The guy in the act there dancing.
Boobs. Boobs.
Yeah, all done with the boobs now. They're leaving.
Boobs.
We've just got to wait for like Jamie Lee's in a while.
How heavy must all those coats be? Oh my gosh.
I thought you meant how heavy must all those be.
Yeah, how heavy will those boobs be?
Let's weigh them individually. Weigh! There you go.
Then Elliot is there going, oh.
Good night, sir. Good night, madam.
Not the boobs.
Hurry up. Yeah, that's it. The two guys that threatened him have just left.
He has just left. Cold out there today.
So yeah, it took basically one night out for him to like actually settle into this role. I'll straighten up. He'll be up all night doing that. Yeah, they should just have a Christmas tree in every film, just in one shot, so you can just pick any of them for a commentary.
See, it is a Christmas movie.
This is, yeah. It is right around Christmas.
Meanwhile,
yeah.
Meanwhile, in the jail.
Oh, he looks well beaten up as well. I haven't got to him yet. We're just about to see him. Actually, well.
Ouch.
Yeah. You wouldn't know what to do, would you?
Crunchy.
Yeah. I think in 1983, if I'd not seen any adverts for this, I wouldn't immediately know that was Jamie Lee Curtis under that.
Yeah, you wouldn't, would you?
No. She was a big star for a few years. What's the last really big thing she did? True Lies, I suppose, isn't it?
What when she was well, I suppose Halloween.
Yeah, still niche appeal though. They don't take
Yeah.
massive money. Yeah, True Lies. I suppose A Fish Called Wanda did pretty well worldwide.
That's a great film.
She's great in it as well.
Well, she's great at comedy, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is brilliant all the way through. I think the cast are all on top form.
Kevin Kline's the star of that film. If you've not seen,
I think Kevin Kline and also Michael Palin.
If you've never seen it, folks, A Fish Called Wanda, 1988 British film, John Cleese wrote, and it's got Kevin Kline in it and Jamie Lee Curtis as well. And Kevin Kline plays a right fucking aggressive idiot in it, and he's really funny. And Michael Palin's in it as a guy with a really, really bad stutter.
But he's brilliant. He's the fantastic role.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Yeah. And his character.
Up the nose.
And John Cleese's character is called Archie Leach.
Yep. Real name of
Cary Grant.
Cary Grant. Fun fact.
And his daughter is called Portia. Why did they name her after a car? That was one of his questions.
That's a great line.
The London Underground is not a political movement.
Oh my god, his character is he's so aggressive, but he's just so dumb. Oh my gosh.
You think Clarence Beeks could one be less obvious about it than standing right there doing like thumbs up?
He's like, yeah.
And also look a bit less like Inspector Gadget.
God, look at his hair.
It wasn't heroin, it was angel dust. Yeah. Yeah.
What? Penelope.
I don't know why they're going to such lengths to ruin him. I suppose they're trying to see if he has a criminal reaction, aren't they?
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like do a job. I think do it properly, because I think they have to really get him to. They can't have him come back. You know, do you know what I mean? They can't have him like sort of.
I think it is how quickly can we make him so desperate he'll commit crimes and stuff like that. I think it is part of the bet. But I always kind of forget that part of the bet, and I'm just like, well, you've already thrown him out of the job and he's on the street. He was pretty fucked already, to be honest. Have we ever seen that woman in anything before?
She does look like a bit of Anna O'Toole kind of vibe.
She doesn't really look like Anna O'Toole to me. Bit more Daphne Zuniga or someone like that. She does look a bit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, what's she called? What's the character called? Hang on. I forgot what the character's called. Hang on. Coleman, Winthorpe, Randolph Duke. Alright. Kristen Holby, Penelope.
Uh-huh.
Born 1951, so she was in her 30s around here. She's from Oslo.
All right.
Oh no, she was born in Oslo.
She's only done 2 films, that and Manhunter.
2 credits, that and Manhunter. That's it.
What happened? Did she decide acting wasn't for her? Or?
Or did they decide she wasn't for it? I don't know.
Sorry, love. Jamie Lee's the biggest star.
Right. I've just gone.
She was a model for.
Maybe that's why.
Then she married Dr. James Darnell and his mother. She probably just married him for sales. I think.
Well,
probably.
I thought, yeah, that's it.
Through her marriage to physicist Sebastian White.
Oh.
Married in 1984. In the early 90s, she retired from modelling and relocated to Larchmont, New York, where she met her current husband, James Edwin Darnell Jr. She established a brand of women's dresses and opened Clotilde, the dress shop in Larchmont, New York. Wherever that is. Well, it's in New York, obviously, but I don't know the whereabouts in the state.
I don't know.
18 miles northeast of Manhattan. All right.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yeah, if you're listening, love.
She's She can join the many ranks of listeners to our show.
Listening with the Queen and Michael Aspel and we attract a diverse audience in our heads.
I think now is as good a time as any for the Queen to listen to our show. It'll give her a bit of respite.
Yeah.
And she can enjoy a range of glossy films.
Yes. I think the Queen would love coming to America. Police Academy.
I think that might be her favourite.
Yeah.
One does especially like the man who makes the funny noises.
Yes.
One especially likes Little Toto.
What a fucking fuss over nothing, though. All that press around them at the moment.
Oh dear.
That's what the press does mostly.
Fuss over nothing. Card? So?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Right, he's just jumped on the floor. That's where we are.
Roger.
That was the odd throw to the floor I've ever seen.
It was very strange.
Well, he's not a stunt man. I think we can tell.
He needs to kind of decide if his eye's closing up or not as well. But other than that, he's putting in a good performance.
You're right. It's sometimes wide open, and then it's like he can't open it.
Yeah, it's like make your mind up.
He's gone back to the other now. Yeah.
Dear Dan, 30 odd years on, 40 years on, please sort it out.
Isn't Jamie Lee Curtis technically like British nobility now or something through her marriage to Christopher Guest?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was just the clothing they put them all in is just spot on because that just feels doesn't it? What he's wearing, kind of string
really
vest.
Mismatched.
Yeah, whatever they could find. Yeah, never done a day's work in your life. Yeah, and a manicure. They couldn't have cast any of these roles better, actually. They could have cast... Richard Pryor would have been about as good.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, I mean, how old would he have been by now? Yeah, no, he would have been alright. He'd been in his early 40s. You could have just about done it.
But but again, you have to cast like someone who is like at a similar age, wouldn't you? And I think it works when they're younger.
Yeah. Richard Pryor should have been in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
He did miss out on a few things. I think the studio were nervous over his drug habit, to be honest.
Sure.
Because he took an industrial amount of drugs. Yeah, I've got no sense of... I don't know enough of the geography of New York. I'm not quite sure where they are. But yeah, I keep trying to do it because I've been there I have been there, but it's a long time ago.
Yeah. I don't recognise that building, but...
The one who stood in front of... Yeah.
Was it actually filmed like in Philadelphia?
No, this is meant to be New York.
Oh.
Because they work on the New York Stock Exchange.
Of course they do, sorry.
Isn't it? It is, isn't it? It's meant to be.
Yeah. It does get confusing because I think it starts in Philadelphia and they kind of get the train.
Yeah, they flip between the two, obviously, because he's in the stock exchange, isn't they? So.
Right. That's probably what's confusing me, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry, it's the same. Let's have a look.
No, because obviously we saw Rocky earlier.
Can you imagine like sort of being in this position of just like having to sort of walk into like a job like this?
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the episode of Black Books when Fran went to work for that company and no one had any idea what they were doing, what the job was, and what they were doing. And like she was asked to give a presentation at one point, and she just gets up and just says some generic shit about us being a company and drawing circles and stuff. And then she gets her own team, who she just shouts at the whole time, and that's it. She takes a job, and no one explains to her what the job is, and it's kind of hinted that they don't actually know. Rob Brydon's in that episode.
Oh yeah.
I need to rewatch Black Books.
Yeah, me too.
It starts really strong, the first episode, where he ingests the little book of calm.
It's still good, isn't it? You should make another series, I reckon.
The episode I really, really loved of it is where Manny, it's his birthday, and he gets bought a coffee machine and a box set of the Sweeney, right? So he's had a massive like caffeine infusion, so he's up day after day, and he kind of starts losing his grip on reality. So he ends up dressed as a 70s cop, kind of. Then he gives chase to some bag snatcher or something, but he hasn't thought about what happens when he catches up with him. So when he catches up with him, he suddenly sort of goes, all right, and just runs past him. But then he ends up at the station, and they think he's a cop too. So he's invited in on like interviews. And the guy who was the first commissioner in the Dark Knight trilogy, Loeb, he's British, and he says something like, "I'm bad cop, you're good cop." So he says, "All right then." So they start interrogating this guy, and he's giving it, you this, that, and the other, and then he looks at Manny, and Manny just looks at him and says, "You have beautiful eyes," and stuff like that. It's funny. It's a really funny episode. Why don't we all go out for fondue? Yeah. As Brits, we never got this. Every TV show or film you watched in the 80s where anyone went to a store, they came out with it all in brown paper bags that look a nightmare to carry.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I can imagine carrying it. I'd just end up dropping it all. Or
yeah.
No, that's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
But then that was a separate job as well. Like in the grocery, you have like packers, and you'd
have somebody to pack them for you.
Yeah.
I think so much now, but I think now things are heading back to becoming more environmentally friendly. People are choosing the paper ones.
What I don't get is, you can have like a bag if you pay for them here, and it's like, just fucking make them out of someone else.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Here's a shit ton of plastic. We're not going to do anything to replace it. We're just going to charge you for it. It has cut consumption.
It really has. But you can pay like 50p for long life bags or whatever. So,
but then people just fork out money for them each time.
Yeah, that's
still people.
I quite often
I've done it occasionally. So
it's weird. You just think there are more sort of degradable things you could make them out of.
I think that's the thing. I think some places, I think Aldi started doing it. I think Co-op originally did it, or originally started to do it. But they have like actual plastic bags that are like degradable now.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? I sort of think, why doesn't everyone just use them now? And then
in a callback to our Never Say Never Again episode, you can see her nipples there.
It's like the tease, isn't it?
Yeah.
See you next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday. That is a reference in every John Landis film. So just beside her there is a poster for a film called See You Next Wednesday. It was a script Landis wrote in like film school or something like that never got made, and it's a reference he puts in every film. And I mean, in American Werewolf in London, for example, it's the film showing at the Porn Cinema. At the end of the film, See You Next Wednesday is the film showing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a three joke, isn't it? So.
Yeah. I can't remember where it is. There's a film of his where it's on the subway somewhere, but I can't remember which film that is.
Might be coming to America then.
I think it is coming to America. It's on the subway where he goes down to try and get her to, come back to him. Yeah. His eyes back's to close now, Becca.
Yes.
Oh dear.
It's
for silence for the breasts. She was actually very famed for her body. Not her beauty as such, but her body when she was at her peak. But yeah, that's quite a famous shot in the film. But
Well, she's as an actress.
yeah,
She is quite iconic as well, obviously because of her heritage and parentage as well.
yeah,
Just,
yeah. Sounds obvious, but for those of you who don't know, she's the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh.
Hence Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, it's Jamie Lee.
I just remember quite late in his life when his health wasn't very good and he was like marrying and dating much younger women. The doctor said to Tony Curtis something like, "It could be very dangerous if you keep having sex." And Tony Curtis replied, "Well, if she dies, she dies."
Oh gosh.
He's quite a character.
On a side note, I can recommend Knives Out. It's a really good film. Jamie Lee Curtis and cast are top fine form of that film.
That's got a really.
If you've not seen it yet, go and check it out.
This film sort of reminded me of Superman 3, where like the guy who has no experience in this is literally sort of like telling them what's happening.
Yeah.
To two old guys who's like been in the
the on the ground explanation behind the theory.
Yeah.
But where he gets just check out at 64, it's like that's a complete fucking guess because he would know what it represents a lot. But apart from that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well done, William.
Oh, lift with chairs.
I love the fact he's really like pissed off about it. Like because it's $1. He's gonna lose $1.
I think so. It's not really about that. It's just about losing.
Yeah, no, I know. The lift chair, yeah. They've just walked out of the lift now.
Yeah.
He's just caught up with them. It is bizarre, the idea, though, that you could walk it. Winthorpe ran the firm. Yeah, they've just got him off the street, and because he knows, like, a little something about how life works, he's, like, as good as Winthorpe instantly. This always feels, it's a royal knockout or something. Like the royal family really love like real tennis, the one where
Yeah.
This is what this set seems like. Although they sing pleasantly enough. But yeah, these people are not that much fun. And I don't know what that's meant to be, because that looks, in our sort of parlance, that looks like cricket wear, doesn't it?
It does a little bit, yeah.
It's probably like
tennis.
Varsity colours or something.
Yeah. It's really sort of like cricket or tennis, posh sports club. Obviously, I'd say tennis.
Charlie's just posted, if you got one of those Gwyneth candles and used it like Amber in Jurassic Park, you could probably clone Brad Pitt.
Oh, gosh.
That's for those listening down the line, that's the news that you can pay 50-odd quid and get a candle that smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. I don't know who did the fucking smell taste on that.
You could end up with a clone that's half Brad Pitt, half Chris Martin.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why you'd want that.
No.
I don't know why you'd want a candle that smells like that. And I don't know how how did she give them samples? Go in with a tissue, there you go.
I dread to think.
If you'd like to whiff Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina, write to us at expectustotalk@gmail.com. But it seems like that's the sort of thing porn stars do. You know what I mean? Where you go buy like a fleshlight that's the shape of somebody's famous private parts or something. I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like pussy candle, isn't it?
Yeah.
My pussy is lit. Literally.
Yes. That reminds me of those Scream Rant pitch ones where he describes everything good as tight. My pussy is tight. Yeah. Scream Rants, they do these movie pitch sketches that are funny. You get them on their YouTube pages. They're only about 5 minutes or so, and it's the same guy, both sides of the conversation. It's really funny.
Oh, yeah, they always do like sort of the wide-eyed.
Yeah, and it's always it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. That line's always in there. He always describes something as tight, as a positive.
And is it? No.
Yeah.
Great.
Why? Because that works. Yeah. Because they had one for the new Star Wars film, and then I went back and saw they had them for all the Star Wars film, and I disappeared down a hole of watching like all of them, or nearly all of them. Now, this is the real... We're coming to the festive Christmassy portion of the film. Oh, it's actually... Yeah, he turns up in a... This is getting close to the Santa outfit bit, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to be getting there.
Actually, I forgot he turned up once to look in the window without. I thought he was going to turn up as Santa then, to be honest. Who's that guy talking with the beard? I recognise him. He was in Goodfellas, wasn't he? Wasn't he the guy, the balding guy, who got like loans from the mob?
Oh, yeah.
And he was like force-fed his wig towards the end or something. It looks like the same guy.
It does look familiar.
It looks a bit like him. Or it looks like him and Tim Curry had a baby. Might not be him, but it kind of looks a bit like him.
It does look familiar.
Yeah. The Russian wheat harvest isn't going to be as bad as everyone thinks. What an outstanding professional he's become in a few days.
He learns quickly.
I don't want to knock the film. I love it.
Which bit are you up to now?
Right, we are at... she's leaning in to whisper in his ear. And just winked at him. She looks like the sort of person who would have been in like Dallas and stuff like that. Very,
yes, just look a little bit
very,
like that.
Very generic, overdressed, 80s woman. Right. It's just gone back to Louis, and he's got like a temperature, and she's just about to whip him out again. Can you imagine how he was offered the job? We think you'd be perfect as someone who frequents prostitutes. Would you like that role? But you're a bit sappy with it. You take flowers and all that kind of shit. What do you reckon? Yeah. Sounds very me. Now here we have the breasts.
More breasts?
Yeah, well, about to anyway. But yeah, this film really made her. Well, I get Halloween, but again, most horror's a little bit niche. This film made her a big star.
Yeah, because I think kind of like showed she could do something else, and it was like, oh, great.
Yeah. I'm just look at. Trying to think what I know her best from apart from this. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Right, so yeah, Knives Out, obviously, and all the various Halloween films, but The Tailor of Panama. Do recommend that to anyone.
Yes, that's a really good film.
I've only seen it once. It may not be as good as I remember, but I remember it being brilliant.
I've
And
yet to see it.
Pierce Brosnan is wildly charismatic in it.
Yeah, he's really good in it.
Just far better than he ever was as Bond. Yeah, True Lies. She was in Freaky Friday, My Girl, Fish Called Bonder. Perfect. That was the oh no, that's Staying Alive. That was the Saturday Night Fever sequel. But Perfect was a bit laughed at as well. I haven't seen that many of the Halloween films, to be fair. I've only seen 3 or 4 of them. It's not really my thing. Although Halloween's great, but the series as a whole, and endless horror sequels are not really my thing. So she was about 24 here. Yeah. Actually, but that buffet actually does look pretty good. The only problem is it does take something away from Eddie Murphy when he has to be fairly serious for this long. Do you know what I mean? You can't have him playing it this way for too long. You have to have them getting on to whatever the scheme's going to be. Because he's just become the ultimate professional now. Although he does question Clarence Beeks things now, so the plot is moving on. Where do you reckon he got a Santa outfit from?
God knows.
I don't know where he got his other outfit from.
Discount shop.
Yeah. There you go. That went well. Yeah, the whole Clarence Beeks thing. Whenever I think of Clarence Beeks, I always think the bit where he's on the phone. Excuse me, fuck off. That's it. Yeah.
Why are you trying to get whole salmon down your front?
Yeah. And then I just always imagine that sort of rough fake beard hair getting all matted into it and stuff. John chose to Mr. Clarence Beeks. Hey, we're only 3 months from a Bond film. Less than 3 months from a Bond film.
Exciting.
Yeah. Like 80 days, something like that. Nothing less than the greatest film ever made will do.
It'll just be fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully good.
Yeah. They seem excited about it, but, they seem like they feel that they've made something a bit special, but I don't know. You can be too close to a property and don't really know what you have anyway. Christ, I remember before Batman Superman, I was hearing how there were standing ovations for screenings of it, and it was fucking dreadful.
Oh, you always hear that, though, don't you?
Yeah. Similarly with The Dark Knight Rises, which is comfortably the weakest of those 3 films. It's not terrible by any means, but it's the weakest of those 3. Yeah, so it doesn't actually prove anything, but they are all a little bit more animated and positive this time. So, I don't know. But I suspect there'll be things in the film that will be a bit love it or hate it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We'll see. Plays Desperate quite well. I haven't seen John Aykroyd in anything for a long, long time.
No, he doesn't do anything these days.
All right. I mean, I'm presuming he's going to be in Ghostbusters this year, but
Yeah, he's doing something in it. But I think he mostly does like cameo stuff, or because he's mostly doing his like Crystal Skull vodka thing.
what's that? He's got a vodka
Yeah,
brand, does he?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I know of course he's like, really into his like paranormal stuff.
Right. Just looking at his acting credits, so he's obviously going to be in that. He has appeared in like the Connors and stuff. Okay. I don't remember him in that Ghostbusters reboot, but he had a little tiny cameo in
Yeah,
that.
he was a taxi driver.
I mean, the last film I saw him in with any sort of size or role that I can think of is 50 First Dates. He was a doctor in that. He's been busy, but not with a lot.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, just appearing bits and pieces and. Okay. I mean, he doesn't owe us anything. I remember the Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah.
How bad was that?
I've not seen that.
It's not very. It's really not good. I wouldn't even bother because it's not.
Well, yeah, you just don't see what's the point.
You're not likely to. I mean, he's 22 years old now as well. It's like because it didn't come out in 2000. It came out a year or two before.
Yeah.
It really wasn't good. I didn't expect it to be as good as the original, but it's like, oh my god, what have they done?
That bad?
Yeah. But not. It's not. I don't know. It's not amusing bad. It's not. I don't know what you would get out of it. To be honest, I wouldn't bother. Yeah. It certainly didn't do anything for me. But yeah.
Apparently, it's like Nothing But Trouble is going to be really bad.
What's that? Sorry.
Nothing But Trouble.
What's that?
I think it's got him, John Candy, Chevy Chase.
I don't think I've seen that.
I could be getting it wrong, but basically he plays like an old like judge.
Oh, I see it. 1991. Yeah. Who the hell is? Who's the one made up as an old guy?
Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
That's him, is it? That does look pretty awful. Okay, fair enough. All right, so we're starting to get to the meat of this plot now. It's
yes.
Well, certainly sort of towards the final act. He's just overheard what they are doing, or he's hearing it now.
Yeah,
and it's made clear we've got to return Valentine to the ghetto.
Mm.
I don't want Winthorpe back after what he's done, so it's like they're just going to keep.
Hold on a minute.
Do you really? Yeah. So
keep him on as MD.
The N word. Yeah. They cannot run. So they're not going to keep him, and they don't want Winthorpe back. So they're both going to be ruined until we get the crop report. So that might give them.
Aaron, sort it out.
It's insider trading, isn't it? If you've got knowledge of the market no one else has, that's insider trading.
It is, yes, inside trading, yeah.
Mm. Now, I don't know how, because I don't know enough about how it works, but apparently some of the stock market rules were changed in response to this film.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting how it sometimes inform everyone in real life.
It pointed out something where they went, we can actually tighten the conditions that led to that.
Yeah, they suddenly thought, ooh.
He has comprehensively fallen apart now. He can barely do even words.
Yeah, he can't he's just literally collapsed.
Maybe it is Philadelphia then. I haven't got a clue. It was set up to be that, but obviously they do trade on Wall Street. But then you don't, unless you're actually doing it in person, you don't physically need to be there, I wouldn't have thought. Rocky ran down there, I'm sure he did. Mm. Where the papers van, the early morning run.
Yeah.
We ran past like the van delivering papers and stuff. This is Philadelphia.
I do really like that those old school American buildings.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's funny for a country with a relatively short history compared to ours, you got some wonderful looking stuff over there.
Really grand.
Yeah. 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 And bear in mind, this country has buildings that are like centuries old.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously you've got nothing quite that age. But yeah, I suppose. I remember this. He pulls this out now, doesn't he? It's grim. Like it's got all the hair on it. No, yeah. He's done well there, actually, to steal that. But yeah, yeah. He probably had bits
Biting
of
into
that
his beard.
He probably
He
probably had bits of that stuck in his teeth and stuff when he got home from filming that day.
What?
Yeah.
That can't taste nice.
No.
No.
And this is where the dog pisses on him.
Oh, fuck's sake. You think, could it get any worse?
Mm. Nice that they got in a session dog to do that.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Hang on, is that a border terrier?
It might be,
That's the breed I'm getting this year.
Looks a bit big for a border.
It's the breed I'm getting this year.
Quick Google it.
Don't matter.
And of course, the rain.
Yeah, it always rains when things are bad. It's like we said before, no one goes bankrupt in good weather.
No, this is it.
It always rains when, the end of the day, yeah. I love that he threw it. Yeah, that doesn't happen, apparently. If you throw a gun to the floor, it's very unlikely to do
Probably
that.
going to go off.
Yeah, it's not likely to.
And it's a very, sort of Looney Tunes comedic sound as well.
Yeah. But Landis always liked that, a little bit of fourth wall breaking and silly little sight gags. I mean, he was talented. Obviously, there ended up as a bit of a whiff of scandal around him, but... And I think him and Eddie Murphy fell out on Coming to America.
Well, I don't know, because they did make Beverly Hills Cop 3 after that.
Or maybe they fell out on that one then. I don't know. Where that scandal is that he was involved with. Charlie's kind of hinted at it, referred to it again. Twilight's own death, so it was before this. Actor Vic Morrow and child extras, and a couple of names, were killed in an accident involving an out-of-control helicopter. The three were caught under the aircraft when it crashed, not when it was cast. And then they reported the probable cause of the accident was detonation of debris-laden high-temperature special effects explosions too near a low-flying helicopter, leading to a foreign object damage to one rotor blade and delamination due to heat to the other rotor blade, separation of the helicopter's tail rotor assembly in the uncontrolled descent of the helicopter. The proximity of the helicopter to special effects explosions was due to the failure to establish direct communications and coordination between the pilot and the film director. And they were charged with involuntary manslaughter. Attempted to show that Landis was reckless, had not told the parents and others of the child's proximity to explosives. And he admitted he violated the California law regulating employment of children by using them after hours. Conceded that he was wrong, but denied culpability. After a 9-month jury trial, years afterwards, 86, 87, they were all acquitted. But he was reprimanded for circumventing state of California's child labour laws. And
dear.
Yeah. He had to settle out of court. The parents of the children sued, settled out of court with the studio for $2 million per family. Vic Morrow's children, one of them being actress Jennifer Jason Leigh, also settled out for an undisclosed
oh my gosh.
amount. And then, so, where did he directed him in? I just read something. It was something to do with it was an interview with Eddie Murphy where he said they didn't get on.
No.
It was 1990 into. It was Coming to America. They fell out on, I think.
Sometimes this happens.
Yeah. When asked by there's a Playboy interview why he gave the directorial job to Landis instead of directing Coming to America himself, Murphy said, "I wanted to help out Landis. I figured give this guy a shot because his career was," and it says expletive, so fucked, presumably. But he wound up expletive me. I don't know why. Fucking him, I don't know. But Murphy continued, and he became a horror on set to Murphy. As it turned out, John always resented that I hadn't gone to his Twilight Zone trial. I never knew that. I thought we were cool, but he'd been harboring it for a year. Every now and again, he would make little remarks like, "You didn't help me out. You didn't realise how close I was to going to jail." And I don't want to say who was guilty or innocent, but if you directed a movie and children get their heads chopped off at 12 o'clock at night when there ain't supposed to be kids working, and you said action, then you have some sort of responsibility. So my principals wouldn't let me go down there and sit in court. That's just the way I am. Murphy claimed Landis tried to bully him on set by telling Murphy's co-star Shari Headley that he was only trying to have a get-to-know-you dinner in the cast to try to sleep with her. He also accosted two of Murphy's writers on set. I'm trying to get to just the main bits. Made trouble between Murphy and some of his writers about money. And the story continues when Landis comes to Murphy's trailer after the incident to make, as Murphy put it, this big speech. His voice was trembling, and it all came out that he didn't think I was talented. The only reason he did Coming to America was for money, that he didn't respect me. I hadn't gone to his trial and all this shit. Called me ignorant, and I don't know what that was because it's a swear word. I'm sitting there shattered. I'm thinking, this fucking guy, I bent over backwards to get this guy a job. He probably won't even acknowledge what happened. He didn't realise that his career was washed up. Yeah. So they obviously did work together a few years afterwards, but there you go.
It took him a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
How weird, isn't it?
Very strange.
But why is Landis pissed at Eddie Murphy? Because what can he do about
what can he do about a trial for a film he wasn't even on?
Yeah.
Unless he just thought they were friends and figured that he deserved some kind of support.
Yeah.
Just seems a little bit irrational, but that's one side of the story, obviously. But the side is that he tried, to big it up and ridicule Eddie Murphy. That is the worst fucking gorilla costume I've ever seen. It's awful.
It is a guy in a suit.
It's just terrible.
Even worse than Diamonds Are Forever.
And the 1976 King Kong.
This is a classic Eddie Murphy character that he would do in SNL.
Oh no!
This is the sort of thing
you can see him walking onto the sort of set for this bit and getting a round of applause, can't you?
Merry Festivus.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year, that was it.
And we're creeping close to the awkward bit, which
we are about to get to blackface.
Such more innocent times where this wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just avoid it now.
There's not much we can do about it now. I think it sort of came from a place of innocence most of the time. But
when things like this happen, you do sort of have to. I mean, it doesn't excuse it, but you do sort of have to sort of think, it's very much of this time.
Well, I just remember seeing the picture of that kid who was a Newcastle fan, and his mum sent him to school dressed as Les Ferdinand. So he was like mid-90s, wearing a Newcastle outfit with blackface on.
I mean, to be fair, the whole, especially in this film, the whole dress fit is meant to be like, this is just silly anyway. So that's the whole spirit of it, is just to be like, this is just a bit ridiculous. It's not from a offensive kind of vibe, really. But, I can see why people would find it offensive. Honestly.
I mean, the worst thing that John Landis ever did is Max Landis, let's be fair. Yeah.
Harsh. But true.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not like killing, a couple of kids with on set of a film. No.
that was negligence.
Yeah.
And yeah, I bloody awful though. Kids working at midnight and all that shit, and it's just how one-tracked and selfish he must have got to the point that like the only thing that matters is getting whatever shot he wants.
Yeah.
I know there's pressures with it, but even fucking so.
I must say, Jamie Lee Curtis looks kind of hot as a Swedish.
She does. Little Heidi's all grown up. Yeah, she's kind of cute. Yeah.
You can go from Sweden.
But you're wearing lederhosen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There is something very like lazy porn scenario about this, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you tried to make this film today, you'd also change certain bits.
Of course. So they've got the crop report and they've replaced it with the fake one. It's actually brilliant. You did that slightly blowjobby impression, tongue in the cheek then as well. It was a bit like, ooh.
Excuse me.
I feel like I recognise the guy of those two that's on the left. I don't know. Maybe he's just been in various comedies. This film struggles a little bit now because it's just that bit's great where they like actually swap the case and stuff, but it really doesn't get going now until they're on the floor of the stock market. It's quite a well thought out plot.
Yeah, it's quite clever actually, isn't it? It starts off as a kind of nature versus nurture debate. Spirals out of control.
And they clearly both have something to offer.
Of course.
Yeah, one of the people I did recommend 1917 to yesterday has just come out of it and put Masterpiece.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I need to go and see that. Hopefully I'll try and catch it this week.
That's what I'm on about with Clarence Beeks. Mendes is a hack. I'm like, fuck
cringe.
me, what? Jesus, really? What did you just fucking watch?
What was that?
Well, he came out of the film and just said he was frustrated by it. Film of two halves. Mendes is such a hack.
Who said that?
Just one of the mutual friends on there. Goes under the name Clarence Beeks, and he's just got horrible fucking taste in film. But he's one of these people that when he like slags a film, he sounds like it's hurt him personally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a bit pissed off with it, to be honest. And we've all got different tastes. That ain't the problem, but it's just the virulence of it. And I think to call Mendes a hack after that film is just wildly misguided. Wildly misguided. But you'll see, a hack implies a certain lack of creativity and also a bit of fucking laziness.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that film isn't, it definitely feels like a passion project, because at the end he does like dedicate it to one of his family who was obviously in one of the wars, and just said thank you for telling us the stories, and it's just the work that's gone into it is phenomenal. We thought so. They have deliberately they've swapped it, and then
they swapped it. And they botched another swap to.
I don't know why they did that. Why were they doing another swap?
I think it's to get him because.
Well, that's what I mean. Were they just trying to draw him out?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's a high risk strategy.
But it's full of it's a plot. He's a villain. And he's like his comeuppance. So that.
Yeah.
The Duke brothers are gonna like.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because what's the plan here?
Yeah, exactly. They've got a gun at their backs, and this, obviously it does all work out, but that was a high risk strategy when you already had what you needed. But there you go. I don't really watch it for the plotting,
No.
although the end scheme's all right. That is the picture, I think. Clarence Beaks, yeah. There you
go. There he is. That's where the bull get the horns.
He seems pretty buggered now.
Yep. Which is the most convincing? Down you go. Dear, oh dear. Oh.
I mean, surely there must be like a place for it to insert. Surely, or it just tears through the costume.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
So just hear a ripping noise. I can't see things like that in these films without thinking of Top Secret when they're dressed as the cow. There's a point in the film where they're dressed as a cow, right? And on outside shots, it's basically a real cow with splotches of paint on it and Wellington boots. And at one point, the person who's in the back is desperate to get out of there until like a calf comes over and starts like milking. Is clearly sucking his dick, and then a bull comes over and just fucks him. Yeah. Top Secret is a Naked Gun style film with Val Kilmer from about 1986. It's got a sort of riff on stars going behind the Iron Curtain to perform. And it's got little Blue Lagoon type jokes and stuff like that. And it's pretty funny.
This is probably why they had to like sort of get caught, because they had to get the money they would have paid of him to buy the...
Sorry, hang on. They had to do what?
Sorry, they had to... Because they were going to buy... they just got paid pretending to be... what's his face?
Clarence Beaks, yeah.
Yeah. So they used the money to buy their shares to kind of do the...
What? And they can't have him turn up there. So they do need to get it... I get your point now.
Because otherwise he would just turn up and get paid for the wrong information. But they need to win.
They need the money to stake.
Yeah.
Got you.
But how that plan went wrong, I don't know. But
all right. I mean, it's fine. Just looking for the person who liked it. Yeah, there you go. That's the piece. Awesome. I'm glad people are enjoying it. 1917 is a really good film, but nothing is for everybody. You know, if you don't marvel at the technical side of it, you may not bond with the characters and stuff like that. So, nothing's for everybody. But it's an incredible feat of filmmaking, and it adds to the language of like war cinema. You know, it's added like.
Yeah. I've not seen it just yet, but if anything, it looks like a worthy entry into war cinema.
It's all
the war genre.
It's all forward momentum as well. And while faux take's been done before, certainly when it's a whole film, it normally comes off as deeply fucking pretentious. And
I
here,
think with a director like Mindy's, who can...
I can't see the film actually made any other way for the same impact now, which is probably the biggest compliment I can give it. You know, who knows? It might win fuck all, but it was.
Well, hopefully it won't. Hopefully it'll win.
It'll win something.
Yeah.
Cinematography, makeup.
Trouble is, cinematography always gets interpreted as pretty. What's pretty? I've made that mistake in the past. Best cinematography, Your Majesty's Secret Service. Well, what I actually meant was it's the prettiest Bond film.
It looks good.
The cinematography in this film's astounding.
Also, a film like that, if it doesn't, if it wins, like Best Picture or like editing, actor, things like that, it often picks up a lot of like technical awards, or like sound, indeed editing, cinematography, or any sort of technical awards, things like that, visual effects.
Yeah.
So that could be the way it goes.
Even down to like lens choice, because obviously you can fit lots of different lenses for different needs on most films, but they'll have had to go with something that works for like everything, because you're not changing camera all the time, and even where there's hidden cuts, you can't suddenly have a different lens on it after that cut, because it will look different. And that's fine while you're sort of within 10 to 20 feet of them, but when you do have like more sort of higher shots and distant shots and stuff like that, it's still got to work. How's the also Harry? That's the thing. I've met a few like former stockbrokers in my time. They're like financial advisors who used to live in London and work in, and it just doesn't sound fun. It just sounds like
it's really stressful.
It sounds unbelievably stressful. Burn the candle at both ends for as long as you can hack it and then get out.
See, this just seems chaos. Like, how can anyone get anything done?
No, and just shouting and And it is just basically, it always comes off as just basically gambling.
Yeah.
Well, you are, aren't you? It's risky. You're taking a punt.
Well, it's like when we do have like stock market crashes and they go X billion wiped off like the economy or value, and you just go, none of that's fucking real. Do you know what I mean? It's all about confidence and demand and shit like that. Yeah. I just couldn't imagine being in this environment, to be honest.
No. Yeah. I think you really do have to have like nerves of steel.
Yeah. How stressful though. If you do make a wrong gamble, you can,
Yeah, you
bring down entire companies.
Is it? I wonder if it must be constantly electric though. You can feel like the energy. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to do that job.
Can you imagine Nick Leeson when he brought down Barings Banks? He must have been like, oops.
Oops.
Oops. Shit.
There was that film made about him, wasn't it? Starring Ewan McGregor.
Was it Rogue Trader?
Yeah. Yeah, many years ago.
It came out the same time as Phantom Menace.
I've held him started for 2 different reasons.
Yeah. Wow, he went to prison for quite a while.
Ewan McGregor? No.
Yeah, he broke down Barings Bank, which I think wasn't it the oldest merchant bank in the world or something? And he just fucking
something like that, yeah.
Tanked it completely.
Just went downhill.
Here we go. Here we go.
Ready, and wait for it. Wait for it. Ding.
Yeah, remember in bottom where it was the most underwhelming sound? Here it comes! That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Here it comes!
That was Shatner, wasn't it? Here it comes! The context on that, you need to go to our Wrath of Khan review to get how Nicholas Meyer got such good performances out of William Shatner, who's a man known for wildly overacting a lot.
A million takes.
Just make him tired.
Again.
Yeah. Keep going till he's tired, and he just says it. So hence when he directs himself, it's crap. Here they go. Actually, the logistics of filming this is a bit of a pain in the ass.
So how can you know what you're taking down?
Is it? Yeah, exactly. It'd just be a blur.
Yeah, it's just writing any old shit.
Yeah,
writing any old crap down.
And who exactly is it?
Yeah, and he's writing that. So
how can you pay attention to all of that?
200 to the one with the big tits. It's what he's
literally.
You know? The bloke who's balding a bit. Yeah. They've just clued in.
So.
And the president's about to make a statement.
Quick.
That just looks chaos, doesn't it?
And also, there's like one woman.
Yeah, it always seemed a very testosterone environment as presented in these things.
And this was the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
Women's Lib obviously hadn't made it to the trading floor just yet.
Not to the trading floor, no.
Apart from that one woman. Or actually the guy with a massive perm.
Probably a lesbian anyway.
Oh.
That would have been the perception, though, wouldn't it? You could do it if you're a bit mannish.
I like being Chrissy Hind.
Right, here we go.
With that amazing hairstyle.
Hide the stake. It's Chrissy Hind.
Get her on from the Pretenders.
The orange crop estimates for the next year. That's where we are, Chris.
Oh, they're orange crops. So about the orange crops.
Were we actually told in this film what the fake... Obviously, we can know what the real clock report's going to say now, but did we know what they were doing before that?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember them ever saying it's going to be a load of old bollocks or whatever. Not affected the orange harvest, so their fake report must have said it's going to damage it. So they were selling at a...
Dun, dun, dun.
So they were selling while the price is low. The price is now going to go up. That doesn't make any sense. That can't be right. Unless they were... Oh, they were buying. Everyone else was selling. That's it. So the price is now going to shoot up and they'll sell it all.
Go.
What are they doing? So they were buying when it... Yeah, I've lost the plot on it, to be honest.
Buy him.
Sold. So they're selling now. Look how pleased with himself Eddie Murphy looks.
He's like, yeah, hell yeah.
Why not?
And why not? Let's do it. Thank you.
That's the poster there, isn't it, with them two?
Oh, yeah.
I think it is, yes. There's one of them outside as well. There's two or three different variants.
Oh, he's gone down.
The original one, when the film first came out on VHS, I can't speak for cinemas because I don't remember, you had that artwork of them stood in front of mirrors.
Yeah.
Do you remember the picture I'm on about?
I think so.
Hang on, I'll share it with you on the messenger feed if I can find it. Leading places, artwork. We'll just call it artwork and I'll see what I can find. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It is... Open image in new tab. There we go. What I'm about to send now is what was on like the DVD and not DVD, home video and stuff. It wouldn't have been DVD. In fact, I'm old enough that video was still fairly fucking new. Where's our feed gone? I've just lost it. Someone send me a message from the main feed. Just say hello or something. I'll respond to that. There we go.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Sometimes if it's not used for a while, it goes down to the bottom.
I had that the other day. I definitely didn't delete it.
Oh, yeah, that one.
$1. Thank you, Lewis. I like the fact that you did
$1.
Was he the guy in... I don't think he was, but I've seen him in something. He looks a bit like he should be playing Lenin in a biopic.
Young Lenin.
I recognise that guy as well, the one that's just been talking to. Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry.
How anyone buys them as real gorillas, I do not know.
I've not had that yet. They're still talking to... to Tim Curry, Morty from Goodfellas guy.
Tim Curry. Who is he? Who is that guy?
Look him up.
It is a mighty fine beard, though, isn't it?
Lennon lookalike.
It's a beard he sat down and thought about. Probably done some sketches as well.
I thought,
I'm thinking
I'll take this to my
something
barber.
a bit
My
like
good man.
this. What do you think?
This one, please.
He's the original Tony Stark.
He really is.
Yeah.
Probably not even listed.
I don't know. It depends whether there's a photo of him and when it was taken. Because Don Amici, as a young man, does not look the same. I'm still looking. I may find it in a minute. May not.
Ugh.
Arlene Sorkin was uncredited in this. She was the voice of Harley Quinn for years.
Oh, Al Franken. Oh, of course.
Is Al Frank? Where was Al Franken?
He was one of the baggage handlers.
Right.
Apparently, he still receives royalties to this day.
Cool.
But diddly.
That's the one I said I recognised then. It was a very young Al Franken.
So there he is. That was him. I didn't recognise it was him, unfortunately.
Went on to be a US Senator. And Bo Diddley played the pawnbroker.
Legend.
Well, still a crack cab, I don't know. Why do people's tastes always go really posh as soon as they got money? Why are they not having fucking super noodles or something?
Pot noodle.
Crack an egg into it, my good man. I like it when it sticks to me gums.
He's wearing the most 80s jumper ever.
That's how I have my super noodles. What the fuck is he wearing? In fact, both of them are wearing very...
Yeah, most 80s jumpers ever.
Yeah, he's he's like wearing them in the Bahamas, though, isn't he? It's like, why would you wear a jumper?
Oh god, look at his earrings. Statement earrings.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that, actually. They're somewhere really hot, were they?
Let's go.
They seem like they're quite long from wherever they're long way from
Hawaii?
wherever the house is. Yeah, something like that.
This is quite funny. Outtake scene.
I like the outtakes on the end of films anyway. It used to be funny. I mean, it depends on the film. I wouldn't want to see a load of like pratfalls on the end of The Godfather or something. It does depend on the film. But they used to be quite funny on the Burt Reynolds films and stuff. Yeah, and I didn't work out who that guy was. President of Exchange, I think it's Alfred Drake. Let's assume it was. He was in Oklahoma. Kiss Me Kate, Kismet. Oh no, they weren't on screen. That was theatre.
Oh, it's Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad.
Was he in it?
He was cellmate number 2 or something, apparently. I didn't.
Oh right, so he was one of that.
Didn't really see him in this one. How about that?
He wasn't in a vast amount of cinema, the guy in question. So yeah, he just reminds me of people, I think, more than anything else. Did more theatre than anything else.
I feel old.
Well, you're actually in your prime, given that you are the incumbent Batman. You're over halfway through the year. How's our crime rate's going? Because Chris spectacularly failed.
I've inherited, quite the portfolio.
Yeah.
From Chris.
So basically, you're blaming me for your bad rap.
Yeah, I'm the only one for whom it was a runaway success so far.
You had a really good year.
I had a good year.
What's your secret?
Eh?
What's your secret?
I don't know, given this is all fictional and I did fuck all.
Spoil the illusion.
Yeah. So, yeah, John Landis just took to making crap after a while. He had a hell of a run, and then the run just ended. But I suppose that happens to most people at some point.
He was in Psycho 4 or one of the sequels.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as a director. When you think he did American Werewolf in London, he did The Blues Brothers, he did this, he did Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Do you think we should do like a John Landis series?
No, because he did Kentucky Fried Movies first, Animal House, and then you get to The Three Amigos and Coming to America, and then it really drops off.
Three Amigos was okay.
Three Amigos was all right. And
I really like Three Amigos.
Yeah,
it dropped. But I meant, but after that, apart from
it sort of drops off a bit, doesn't it? Really,
quite badly. Yeah, I know he did the Thriller video.
Yeah. Oh, Becca, yeah.
If you weren't around in that time, you've got no idea what a big deal it was. Music video was still fairly young, and it was just so different.
Oh, he did the remake. Oh, dear, I didn't realise that.
Of what?
Of Blues Brothers, sorry.
He did the sequel, Blues Brothers 2000, which was poor. But yeah. Oh, it turns out the people in this film are fictitious.
Oh, right. Okay.
Phew.
Wow, what a relief.
Yeah, so that's our Christmas commentary for last year.
Yes. Our commentary for 2019 in 2020.
Oh, well, we've done it now. Coming up next is all the Star Wars stuff to finish off the rankings, and then we move on to John Wick.
Yeah.
Chris's turn for the Christmas commentary next year, and we think we know what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I won't say what it is, but I will say it will be Ice to See You All.
Ice to See You.
That's right, it's McBain.
McBain, the movie.
We're going to commentate on that 15-second clip from the episode of The Simpsons.
I wonder if somewhere somebody has done like a supercut of all the like McBain or
I bet you'd
Radioactive
find it.
Man.
I bet you'd find it.
It'll probably be like half an hour long, but somebody's put together all the clips.
Yeah, you can normally get all these things cut together with anything. You get, even like the Fast Show, if you want to get like everything cut together from certain characters, you can find.
There's a supercut of the Bond movies, isn't there? I think.
The full McBain movie, hidden in The Simpsons in high quality. All credit goes whoever put this together. I don't know if they've. That's actually just 4 minutes though, and then there's all McBain clips as of 2017. That's 6 minutes.
Oh.
He's only been on screen for 6 minutes in all those years.
Did he get Mendoza in those 6 minutes? Probably not.
Well, yeah. I would have thought he's quite successful at what he does, clearly.
Isn't Mendoza like a generic villain name that's used all the time?
Yeah, generic villain name.
Yeah.
Gotta get Mendoza.
Robert Darby wouldn't even lower himself to that.
No.
For something way more distinctive like Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Well, Sanchez is a good villain name.
It does work, actually. It's a pity David Hedison had problems.
Better than Mendoza.
But yeah, I don't know. God, there's rumours about the Bond again, aren't there? They're absolutely running with the fact it's going to be James Norton now.
Yeah, he's rumoured to be the next one. Then doing the theme song could either be Billie Eilish or Beyonce. Bit of a contrast.
Billie Eilish, Jesus Christ!
I can't pronounce her name. Sorry.
Stuff because I'm old, but like
if she was, she'd be the youngest.
Well, yeah, but she's not
a
right
fit. When
Casino
Royale came out.
It's like choosing Radiohead when they're doing they're
doing their kind of
it's like vaguely
offbeat warble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Radiohead, but they weren't. Well, that song was not right for Bond at all.
Yeah.
It makes the Sam Smith song sound really great and appropriate.
I quite like the Sam Smith song.
I'm all right with it, but it's not one of the best. But it's better than Radiohead.
And I am a Sam Smith fan.
Yeah, I know. But I don't particularly like it. It's not one of the absolute better ones, though. And the Radiohead one was terrible. Beyonce, I'm reading that the rumour of her name seems to come from the fact that there's a picture of her stood next to a martini.
Yeah, there's a picture on Instagram. She was like sipping a martini, and it's like, could this mean?
It could mean something, I guess. I mean, I'd be all right with it.
Well, time will tell.
I sort of don't care because they don't often get it super wrong, and they only rarely get it super right. So most of the time, songs are all right. Every now and again, it's really, really good.
If it's shit, then it's like, well, it's shit, and the film might be good. So fair enough.
Yeah, the other side, sometimes the song's shit and works in context as well. I mean, like Madonna's song is fucking terrible, but I don't mind the title sequence to that film.
Yeah.
It's the rest of the film that's dreadful. But yeah, I mean, it was all kind of put together pretty well. Daniel Kleinman's the one I'm more worried about being there.
Why?
What do you mean, why? No, I don't mean like I'm hearing he's not going to be. I just mean that, like, he's the bigger factor in whether the title sequence is going to work for me.
Of course, yeah, no. Well, I trust in him.
Yeah. Again, Spectres wasn't brilliant, but a lot of that was the momentum wasn't there in the song at all. So
No,
again, even if you like
beautiful
the song,
though.
I didn't like the Spectre one very much.
I tried different callbacks, and I think it just had a different vibe. But
it was a bit too tentacle porn, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it just kind of it was just there.
Hentai.
Whereas like Skyfall had constant forward movement in it, Casino Royale was constantly moving, and I just felt it was just kind of like
it was a bit underwhelming, wasn't it? Because obviously a movie called Spectre, you kind of think, oh yes, we're going to find out all about it now, and it just kind of wasn't. But it was still beautiful visually.
It's a bit like The World's Not Enough.
Visually stunning.
I mean, the worst one of the Craig era is still the one Kleiman didn't do.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do Quantum of Solace.
No, Quantum was a bit.
MK12, MK12, I think it was, did it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
That was just, yeah. Maurice Binder could have done that with a slightly bigger budget.
And some dancing girls, and away you go.
Yeah, that's all it really was, dancing girls and sand. And him just sort of wandering around a bit. But,
a lot of silhouettes.
I don't care who does the theme until I do care, if you know what I mean. And they're like, I've put no thought to it. I'm not interested in the conversation around it. I'm sort of not that bothered. But if they announce someone and I end up thinking they're shit, then that's different.
It's hard to know till anything's actually confirmed.
And I'm totally out of fucking date with music. I am. Like, half the acts that get named, I've either heard nothing or almost nothing. I mean, obviously, I've had a fair bit of Beyonce. She's been around 20 years. But, like, I don't know much of most people's stuff now. So, like, they name all these people, and I've got to go and fucking look them up and actually, like, listen to a couple of bits. And I'm not going to be asked to do that for a load of people that probably won't get the gig. So, I don't know. Don't really have a preference. And again,
I feel they'll pick the right person. They'll either go with somebody who's timeless or is very much the flavour of the month, of the moment.
The problem is you got a woman of 60 and a bloke of 78. How much? I don't really know that I trust their opinions, to be honest, on that particular aspect.
Yeah, well, they'll reach out to the staff. They'll kind of they got people around them.
But then it'll be who's hot right now.
Yeah, literally, they'll get onto their assistants or whoever and be like, "So, give us the lowdown."
Yeah.
Obviously, won't say that, but.
And of course, like, Chaz and Dave won't be available now because, like, one of them died.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And there are only 2 remaining Beatles.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Paul McCartney now, to be fair.
I think he's been there, done that already.
Thing is, you think about what we're going to get through the prism of what we've already had. Hence, there's a lot of people who would like to have Adele back.
She's done it already, though.
Well, yeah. I don't.
But then Oscar winning.
Shirley did a few of them, but
yeah, Shirley Bassey, why not?
No, I'm not saying get her in. I'm saying that like there is precedent for people doing more than one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible, but like I don't know. I already think they do too many callbacks in this series as it is. So do you want the same person? I don't know.
Hopefully they'll choose somebody fresh and new.
What, like a baby?
Like a baby, yes.
Just
you
a
could
baby
do it.
Wailing over.
Chris could do it.
Chris could do it. Chris, are you available?
Yeah, sure, I'll give it a go.
Fair enough.
Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Right.
I'll just learn how to like write music and and contact Eon and just go.
I don't see a theme tune.
Just sing into their like voicemail. I'm thinking it's a bit like this. And then you just sing.
And instead of the club singer.
You down.
Tick tock, tick tock. Oops, I've got no time to die.
Yeah. There was a Smith and Jones sketch where like this guy went round Stanley something. It was Griff Rhys-Jones, and he was going around and doing theme tunes for different films or like interviewing for them. So he went round. He did Octopussy and he did Gandhi, which was really funny. And what was the other one? He did Apocalypse Now as well.
Oh gosh.
I will look it up and post it to you. It's really funny. But anyway, we ought to sign off, haven't we?
Yeah, we just sort of rambled on now. So
we did.
Really. I didn't talk over film either, but there you go. We've done our Christmas commentary.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas, folks.
We hope you all got what you wanted.
We hope you enjoy your presents. So there you go.
Merry New Year.
I'm just posting it to you, actually. Hang on. This is the sketch I was on.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I haven't sent it yet. So you definitely haven't seen it.
No.
But there you go. There it is.
I will see it when you post it. Oh, thank you.
There you go. So I'll post that. Anyway, so good night, Merry Christmas. And thank you to everybody who has sent in such lovely words over the last few days. There's been a few of you. I don't know what's prompted it now, but a few of you have. So thank you.
Yes. Yeah, just to echo my heartfelt thanks. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and for passing all your kind words. And, if we've helped you through difficult times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Likewise, this has all helped us through difficult times. Thank you so much for your kind words. And
yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to touch you has touched us.
Yeah. Because previously we were just touching each other, and now
speak for yourself.
Touch. Oh,
I mean, maybe most of the time I just touch myself, but yeah, but that's a separate thing.
When
I think about you.
It's gone right to our heads, and we are now all insufferably arrogant. So thank you. Anyway, this sketch is funny. Mentioned in our Christmas commentary
Commentary.
Yeah.
It was a while
in mid-January. So it's for the year ahead. Sorry, it's been a bit halting recently, folks. We will get past all that, and loads and loads of stuff to come.
Yes, we've got Fast and Furious coming up as well after John Wick, I believe.
Can't remember what's after that, but we've got about the next 4 or 5 listed.
Yeah, definitely. So,
might be Lethal Weapon after that, or Spider-Man. I can't remember which.
Oh yes, I think so.
Listed, but then we get Charlie back for Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And then I think we do the Austin Powers commentaries.
Oh gosh.
Thing is though, I might get a bit emotional when all the henchmen die.
Nobody thinks about the family of a henchman, or something like that.
No one thinks of the henchman. It's Rob Lowe taking that call as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, of course. It's just like SNL aplenty, isn't there? There's a lot of that in that kind of same DNA.
I'm baffled that I don't know what I've just slipped into a parallel dimension because Adam McKay's doing stuff like Vice and The Big Short, and Jay Roach is doing Bombshell.
Yeah, it's very odd, isn't it? Now it's kind of gone into Bizarro world.
It's really flipped. They are totally not working in their comfort zones anymore.
No, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, I mean the last film I saw of Jay Roach's would have been The Campaign.
Oh yeah.
Which is Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, well, he's doing those political ones now after doing the. He did that one on.
Adam McKay.
Yeah, the McCain and Palin thing, didn't he? So.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't see that actually. But yeah, anyway, we're really bad at signing off when we're not in our normal continuity and format.
Yeah.
Because normally we throw it. Now we're like, sit tight.
It's because we have those fun facts and we just kind of don't know where to go.
Yeah, it's just like, so,
sorry about that. I'll try to be on better form next time. If you're not full of cold.
It's not in that format, so it don't really matter. So, yeah, we are well aware to anyone listening we're completely wasting your time now. So I'm going to stop and say good night.
Good night.
And it's good night from me.
That's good night for her.
Bye.